just want to thank you. Welcome to the 7th annual Ceres Food Film Festival. We have a diverse group of filmmakers here today, so I'm very excited to start this off. So why don't we go off and start introduce ourselves. Vicki, how about you?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Vicki Van Chau. My short film is called Pulled Strings. And Pulled Strings is sort of a film about family. It's a relationship between a father and a daughter and passing on sort of intergenerational knowledge about cooking. And it features the technique of pulling noodles and then also combined with Chinese string instruments. So we have the guzhang and the yiwu as well.
Hello, everybody. I'm Giulio. My film is called The Taste of the Land. I'm from Italy, and my film tells about this particular territory, which is a small territory, but is very rich with special product like Parmigiano Reggiano, traditional vinegar, cherries, chestnut. It's an old tradition that people in that specific territory keep having from centuries, and these products comes from an old culture in this particular territory. Very small, but very rich.
My name is David Boanuh, co-founder of Beautiful Story Studios, a production company based in Ghana. I'm currently extending as well in Toronto, where I am currently. So my film is titled Golden Seeds. So Golden Seeds is a story of hardship, but in a way, as founder of Beautiful Stories, we were looking to tell a beautiful story, which is pretty difficult to do in an area that is so undervalued, right? So the cocoa and the chocolate industry is one that, for many years, generations upon generations has been cocoa has been the trade of these people living in the eastern parts of Ghana and different areas of Ghana. But my documentary was focused on the eastern part of Ghana, and what you find is globally there's just so much money that is being made off this thing, the beans of the cocoa, right? And there are a lot of big organizations out there that are churning in billions. It's a massive industry, but to date, shockingly, farmers live on $1 a day, and that's unheard of. Even when you convert the currencies to into a Ghana cedis, it still doesn't match up, So this project was one that delved in an ethnographic way, being a part of the story in itself. We delved into the lives of these people to hear from them. First off, I've seen documentaries being made around this story, but it is always told from the perspective of some researcher, somebody sitting in some office, some big person somewhere. But I just wanted to hear from the farmers. I just wanted them to share, and it was really intense. I remember one time, we spent a week with them prior to the documentary itself, and then another for filming. We spend more time with them, getting to understand them even before pulling out a camera, because these are tough conversations to be had. It's about their lives. It's about their families. It's them, right? And for them to share such an intimate thing with you, you have to be a part of it. And I've been deeply connected to it since its inception and development. Because my father was a cocoa farmer. I mean, today he has his doctorate degree. He's traveled the world, but he has been the fortunate one who expanded beyond and also seeing things outside of what this exploitation is like, and it's something that I've been deeply connected to for a very long time. So having to tell this story, for me, I feel like it was a privilege to be able to be a part of something as amazing as this. Yeah.
I would say I completely agree with you, and I really did like the fact that it was usually told through the farmer's eyes, the people's eyes, and let them tell you what's happening on the ground in the moment. Amazing. So I would like to start off by asking what inspired you to make this film.
Well, it was generally born out of passion, and after what I had witnessed that day, having to be there as a chocolate lover myself. I mean, everybody loves chocolate, right? As a chocolate lover myself, I just felt so deeply connected to this, just because we've seen so much globally pertaining to how everybody loves chocolate. And mind you, 70% of the world's chocolate comes from Ghana and Ivory Coast, just these two countries. And having traveled these two places, I just felt like it wasn't reflective of the fact that we are the backbone of this massive industry. So I felt deeply connected, and I wanted to contribute my voice. Well, in this case, it was their voices to elevate them from this hardship. And actually, just recently, there was some news I saw. I think it was on CNN that globally the chocolate prices had been increased. I'm sorry, the cocoa prices, which means that our voices are being heard.
Vicki, your film, actually like Giulio's, has a lot to do with the passing down of technique, passion. In your film, you had a much more poetic take on that. What inspired you to make this film?
Yeah, for sure. Pulled Strings was actually one of my earliest films. I'm quite an emerging filmmaker, and I had done this film back in 2018, and I was thinking of a film, what I wanted to do next after going through this emerging filmmakers program, and a filmmaker friend told me to work on something that I loved, and I love my family and I love food, and so it was sort of a no-brainer to kind of put that together. And so the chef in the film is actually my uncle, who had a restaurant in Calgary, Alberta at the time. And his specialty was these pulled noodles. And so watching him pulling these noodles was such a treat. And I really wanted to capture it on film. And I'm come from an arts background. I don't actually come from a film background. So a lot of my work is more visual and maybe less narrative. And so combining that with sort of the visuals of these Chinese string instruments, you kind of see the strands in the noodles and the strings of the instruments kind of being combining into this really beautiful and remarkable collage of visuals. And it kind of just tells the story with the music of this sort of like unspoken relationship between this father and daughter who's trying to pass on this technique to his daughter and trying to keep that sort of tradition alive. So yeah.
Giulio, was it similar for you? What inspired you to make this film?
No, for me, it was a little different because it was not my idea to work on that subject. It was an idea of the municipality of that territory I talk that the film is about. They were supposed to have a big fair to promote their products. As I told you, there are super special products in that land, in that territory. But it was 2019 and the fair was supposed to be in 2020, May. So the COVID, the pandemic things just broke any possibility to have this fair. So the municipality decided to shoot a video, to make out a video. And they called me and they told me they didn't want to have an institutional video. They wanted to have a documentary to promote their products. So I proposed them to tell the story of people that make that territory so special. So that's how it was born, The Taste of the Land.
So that actually brings me to my next question. Did you so were you filming during COVID? Because my next question is, what was your biggest challenge while making this film?
Of course, the biggest challenge was to have the possibility to shoot during that period. In Italy, we had a lockdown for 2-3 months. Then in the summer 2020, we started having more possibilities to go around and shoot. And when I was shooting, I decided, because it was not possible, to program for sure the weeks you were supposed to go and shoot because of the COVID. Was not always you were not always free to go. So I decided to narrate a year, to shoot over a year, to represent also the territory through the seasons. So it was also an opportunity, COVID.
Yes, yeah. That's
I
interesting.
just try and turn an obstacle in an opportunity.
I've heard that quite a bit actually, that the obstacle was also an opportunity. That's interesting that you say that. Vicki, how about you? What was your biggest challenge?
Yeah, I think it was just learning the process of filmmaking. It was definitely one of my first films, so we had a very small crew, and just trying to learn how to, because I don't come from a film background, just working with my DP and learning how to work with my crew. But well, the biggest challenge actually was quite a funny one. It was actually pulling the noodles, because we had to do so many takes. The location that we were filming in, we were actually filming on the second level of an art gallery. And it was so hot because we shot this in August that the noodles kept melting. So every time we would pull them, the noodles would start like disintegrating. So what we had to do is we had to like quickly pull the noodles downstairs and then run up and then try to get the shot of the noodles being pulled before it started melting again. So just working with sort of like raw ingredients, it's just was a little difficult.
Yeah, I feel like with filmmaking, 50% of it is just putting out the most random fires that you just didn't expect to occur. It takes a lot of agility, let's say.
Yeah.
And David, what was your biggest challenge while making this film?
My biggest challenge, I would say, um, I would say my biggest challenge while making it was really from the inception. Um, it was it was getting them to be comfortable and to open up and to speak up, right? It's because you're dealing with people who, um, you know, naturally or culturally, Ghanaians are very calm and collected. We don't push against oppression. We don't, naturally, right? But this shows that, well, we beg to differ when it comes to that kind of stereotype that has been created around us. Because when you delve deeper, you know that they are hurt. Truly, they are hurt. I remember one time on set, I interviewed this lady called Gifty Nyako. I can't forget her name. Gifty told me that she attended a workshop. This was after 1 hour, right, of an interview where we just needed like a 2 minute soundbite, right? But after 1 hour of in-depth conversations and letting her understand where this could go and what value it could bring, after 1 hour, she finally opened up and she told us that she went to this workshop where there were different people who have been brought from all over the world talking about chocolate. And mind you, some farmers to date have never had chocolate before. They've never tasted chocolate. And that's crazy that because they are the backbone of the industry, right? So she went to this workshop and so they told her about what the value of, just one bar of chocolate was. And she compared that to the value of one sack of beans. I mean, like a big, massive sack of beans. And it was worthless. Like, so she told me in plain terms, well, in our local language, they are cheating us.
Yeah.
We've never heard them say such words ever because they will always be so nice and just calm and collected about it. But the way she expressed that day on set, the entire set was just calm and quiet. Everybody was silent for like 5 whole minutes. You know, that was the
Powerful.
point at which I realized that we were doing something here. You know, it
Yeah.
was a challenge in the beginning, but eventually, as time went on, so it extended the time of the documentary. So what should have taken short took a long time. So that was a challenge that we faced. But yeah, it was.
So did either of you have any experience with the subject matter that you guys tackled in your movie before production?
Actually, I knew a little. I start talking. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, no,
No,
that's
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 great.
perfect.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know very well the territory. Actually, I live by that territory, not too far. I just heard some of the things that then have been in the film. I, I didn't know very well before started the shooting. So when the municipality called me, I start studying a little more. Just go there and visit these places, meeting people, like a normal work you do before you start writing and shooting. So it was like 2 3 months. I went there visiting these places, meeting people before I start writing down and then start shooting.
Vicki, how about you? Did you have any experience with this
Y-
subject matter?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, the inspiration definitely came from watching my uncle pulling noodles in his restaurant. When I was getting the film and pitching it to the Alberta Foundation for the Arts, who ended up funding the short, I just did a little shoot with just sort of showing that sort of technique of pulling the noodles, and just had some really interesting visuals, and so that really helped. And then I would actually the two musicians that are featured in the film. So one was the who plays the Chinese violin, the erhu, was the conductor of the Calgary Chinese Orchestra, and I actually was part of the Calgary Chinese Orchestra way back before I went to art school. I was a bamboo flute player, so I had that kind of connection, and it was my chance to kind of reconnect with sort of my Chinese roots and the culture that I had kind of put away for a little while when I was attending art school. And so these films was sort of a way for me to like get back into that. And yeah, just reconnecting with that organization was really a treat to be able to feature them in the film.
And David, can you talk a little bit about your experience with the subject matter? Did you have experience with this subject matter before production?
Yes, because I've done a film earlier before then, about 2 3 years ago, in the same community. That was when this story sparked in me. So I had encountered a few of them prior to this documentary that we did.
What impact are you hoping to have with this film?
We know that, well, when it comes to raw products, of course, raw product can have the same value as the finished product and its basic economics, you know, but there is a difference between exploitation, active exploitation, right, and having a fair trade. There's a huge disparity there because um, when you are dealing with people who they can't fight back, they can't push back, right? They just continue to take and take and take with um with no intention of wanting to rectify things. The best you'd see them do is try to form some sort of NGO in some small community where they're doing some, well, we're providing water, we're providing, food to these people, but it's not, it's less than 1% of whatever uh the company is worth or whatever they could have actually paid back. And those are things that they do to look good. So what I want, or what the impact I want this to have, is that massive chocolate organizations to stand up and say that we're gonna do something about this. We're gonna be fair. We're gonna ensure that the prices are being given at a value that is worth what it's worth. And we've seen some companies stand up to this. I partnered with Tony's Chocolonely, which is very big on the activism against this. So they are currently they actually pay more than twice the market value price, but they can't go too far because they are restricted by rules and regulations of, you know, of different organizations. So if everybody comes together to say that, hey, we're gonna push the price a little bit more just so that these people will have a much more comfortable price. It's not gonna affect them that much because we will continue to eat chocolate. You know, it's something that I want to see happen, right? And that's the impact that I wanted to make.
Now, Giulio, your film was comprised of various interviews from all walks of life from this area. What, you know, they were very passionate, and they were very passionate about the land and the legacy and their family. What impact were you hoping to have with audiences in telling all of these stories?
Listen, I was, what can I say? There are plenty characters in the documentary because of the necessity of the municipality to promote the products. Usually, I don't work with so many characters in my documentaries. It has been a kind of challenge. You know, if I come back to your first question, it was also hard to work with so many characters because I like to go deep into the life of people I tell about. So the first thing I thought, I hope the impact of this movie is going to be strong enough to capture an audience, which is an audience not necessarily that knows well that territory, those traditions, uh, and and I think that the impact was good. The movie has gone around. He was attending plenty festivals, also abroad. He won prizes, some awards in Slovakia, because sometimes you feel like you are telling something maybe abroad they don't understand, or they don't have the same culture, so they don't feel the same thing I feel when I shoot, when I write something. And so the impact was good. I didn't expect to tell this little tiny story, which is not a strong story. You know, it's a story about the life of the daily life of normal people. So the impact was very good. Was very good. Once you are able to narrate a universal story, just telling about the story of normal people, I think that is good. It's not easy, but I did. I don't know if it's my, also because those people are true. You know, they gave me their soul.
Yes.
They gave me their soul. So that's the why the film works.
So Vicki, I'm going to go back to you. What impact were you hoping to have with your film?
Yeah, it was really interesting because I always find food is such an accessible way to one's culture. And I really wanted this film to kind of introduce people who may not have tried this pole noodle dish before, or have listened to these instruments before. So it was sort of a way for not only myself to reconnect with my identity, but for others who are viewing this film to find a new or renewed appreciation for the cultural elements that I'm representing in the film.
Vicki, now you said you're an emerging filmmaker, so I'll start with you. What is next for you?
Yeah. I I didn't go into filmmaking to make food films, but I just found such a really welcoming community and just amazing content that, features food in these films. And so ended up sort of creating a series of these sort of food films that kind of combine the Chinese culture with its food. So after Pulled Strings, I had Hearth of the Lion, which combines Chinese lion dancing and wok cooking. And then I just got greenlit for another film afterwards, which will be combining Chinese opera and dim sum. So yeah, just some really fun sort of visual collages and being able to introduce people to sort of these cultural elements I'm really excited for, especially Chinese opera, which sort of is like a sort of a dying art form that the new generation hasn't been latching onto, and the Chinese opera community has been sort of aging out. So I would love to put a spotlight on that community and really sort of be able to revitalize this sort of really unique cultural part of our identity, and to bring it to the Chinese diaspora here in Canada. So yeah.
Awesome. I think it's so important to put spotlights on a community and culture. Obviously, it's been talked about a lot recently, but representation mattering. And then what's great is that when you put a spotlight on a community, for those that are outsiders, it's educational, right? But B, there's always something universal about it. You find a connection to it, which is really important. So I'm glad this is in your future. So good luck. Giulio, more of a veteran filmmaker. What's up with you? What's next?
Yeah, I've been working for a year and a half on this completely different documentary. The subject is totally different. It's about the crisis of the post-career of professional soccer players,
Mm,
which is a completely different subject. But I read an article like 2 years ago about this famous soccer player that that now is having very many troubles. And then I went deeper in the matter, in the issue, and there are plenty of them. Usually people think soccer players in Italy, but also in Europe, they live, after they stop their career, they live just out of the money they earned. It's not like this. There is a very big social problem.
mm,
And so I'm working on that subject, on that documentary. It's not easy, because it's not easy to tell about to involve uh, people to tell about their problems. But I'm working on it, and I hope I will get chance to develop the project.
yeah. Kind of like what David was saying. One of the challenges of doing documentary filmmaking is the connection between you as a director and the subject or
Yeah,
interviewee.
that's the main obstacle in the beginning. You
Yeah.
did get the access to the character, to the person
Yeah.
you're supposed to tell about.
What do you, I guess this is kind of an off the cuff question for all of you, but what do you guys feel as though there is some kind of a bond between you and who you are interviewing after those walls are kind of torn down? I guess anybody can answer that.
Can I go?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I not only in documentary filmmaking, but moving forward after this project, I still am in contact with some of these farmers. Um, for instance, one of them, Edward, currently is helping me with some ideas that I had. I'm also an entrepreneur, right? some ideas I had pertaining to how I could start some sort of a social entrepreneur project that could assist them in a way, right? So I started this project that I'm looking to find different value to the cocoa itself, not just the beans, because the beans is just 30% of the fruit, right? And there's no research that has been put into that. Farmers can't do R&D. The government has to stand up, but the government does not care, essentially. So I'm just in my small way trying to see what I can do pertaining to that. It's just started, but hopefully in time, and if I get the right funding, I should be able to see how I can create some sort of value with the cocoa fruit, in other industries outside of the chocolate industry, even if it's still in the food industry or some other industry, just so that I could give back to the farmers and to the community. So I'm still in touch with the different farmers because they have to assist me being able to do that, because they could supply me with some of these things. And so yeah, essentially, I still stay in touch with them, not just because I did a film for them, but how can I, aside the fact that like I'm making noise about the problem, actively do something that could be of benefit to the communities. Yeah, starting with the community that I filmed in.
Right. Now, Giulio, you said they were giving you your soul. Was there any kind of a bond that you feel like was created
Yeah,
between?
yeah, yeah. Of course, like David was saying, I'm still in contact with some of them. Usually, when I go present the documentary, I say the documentary gave me the opportunity to meet new friends. For some of them, it's true. I'm still in contact with them. Of course, I go buy their products, wine
Mhm.
and cheese and stuff like that. But with some of them, I feel like I found new friends.
That's amazing. Now,
They,
Vicky, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, it's okay. It's like part of our job. If you work with people and you want tell their story, no way you keep having a bond with them.
Now, Vicky, you said your uncle was in it. I've had some filmmakers have family members in it, and they said it brought them closer. I don't know if that was an experience you had, but was there any kind of hesitation that you had to fight through, and what did that materialize into for you two?
Yeah, I'm really lucky that I'm really close with my family members. When I had pitched the idea to my uncle and my cousin, like they were all for it, and they still are very supportive of my film career. And my uncle's always like, if you just need me as an extra, I can just like walk onto your set. And so they're just really excited just to be part of the project. And then with all the local organizations that I work with, like whether it's like the Calorie Chinese Orchestra or the Dingmo like Lion Dancers, I it's a sort of a continuing relationship where I end up, utilizing them for other projects or recommending them for other film projects as well. So it's always been it's really great that these organizations are able to get a spotlight and be able to continue working within the realm of film because of these connections that were made through mine. So I'm really, I'm really happy that I was able to provide that sort of networking opportunity for them and to keep getting them work afterwards. So yeah.
Amazing. Now, finally, David, what's up? What's next with you? Are you working on anything?
Yeah, I'm currently in Canada. Actually, I'm doing business of film. And also I've never had any form of film school, right, at all, and so I just thought maybe I should try something for the next 1 year. But also I'm trying to see the intersection between here and there, um, and see what could be explored in there. But essentially, what I'm currently working on is my first feature, or perhaps if it could be a show. I don't know, but it's a story I want to tell of the first president of Ghana. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And it's a story in the works because he has been very instrumental, not only in the independence of Ghana from colonial slavery, but also from colonial rulership, sorry, but also he's been very instrumental in independence for other neighboring African countries. He's a household name in West Africa, and it's something that I'm looking to explore what story could be told. I'm in touch with his family at the moment, his granddaughter, and a few people pertaining to the rights and all of that. So I'm looking forward to also gaining funding pertaining to that to see what we could do. It would be something powerful that could also be equally impactful.
Amazing. Well, thank you all again for joining us. 7th Annual Food Film Festival. Again, your films were incredible, very inspiring to me personally. And hopefully I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you very much.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.